स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय। भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय। शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय। स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी प्रबुधानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी शुद्धानंद भगवान की जय। साध्वी आनंद ज्योति जी की जय। माता पिता की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्रीमद् भगवत गीता अध्याय chapter number 4, and we have to see verse number 22. Unaffected by the opposites, a sannyasi accepts whatever comes by chance. To understand this verse correctly, you need to understand the spirit of sannyasa and how a sannyasi lives his or her life. A person who lives according to this lifestyle does only that which is necessary to maintain the physical body, without any identification with it. A sannyasi does not grow his or her own food or work to earn money to buy it. Instead, he or she lives on alms, bhiksha, which is not the same as begging. To live on bhiksha means that the person eats whatever comes along without any planning or scheming about how to acquire the food. The sannyasi doesn't scheme things, how to acquire. It happens. Whatever chance brings is food enough for the sannyasi. An attitude described further by Krishna in this verse. यच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतविमत्सरः समासिद्धसिद्धो च कृत्वा अपि न निभ्यते। Yadarachha yadacha labha santushtha. One who is happy with whatever comes by chance. This is very important to understand. To be happy with whatever comes by chance. Dvandvatitah, one who is unaffected by the opposites. Vimatsaraha, one who is free from jealousy. Siddhau, with the reference to success. Asiddhau, and with reference to failure. Samaha, one who is even-minded. Samaha, the one who is even-minded. Kartava api, even though performing actions. Na nibhyate, is not bound. The one who is happy with whatever comes by chance, who is unaffected by the opposites, free from jealousy, and even minded with the reference to success, and even-minded. Even-minded means doesn't have any effect with reference to success and failure, is not bound even though performing action. He is performing the action. A jnani is performing the action and is happy with whatever comes by chance. He is happy. If it is failure, he is happy. If it is success, he is happy. He is unaffected by the opposites. Whatever comes by chance, he is happy. In the compound yadaracha labha santushta, labha refers to something that you gain. Yadaracha, by chance. Yadaracha, by chance. Without any planning or scheming. Continue. You are moving in a direction and you feel thirsty, and by chance you find a well nearby. That is by chance. You may find it with a sour water or a sweet water. Whatever comes in your way. In other words, whatever chance brings is yadaracha labha. A wise person is called yadaracha labha santushta in this verse because he or she is totally happy with or whatever comes by chance, even in terms of basic necessities. A sannyasi doesn't go after things. Whatever he gets is good enough for him. The same person is called Dhandva Atita. Dvandva Atita. One who is above all the opposite. One who is not caught on either side of these opposites or in between. People tend to swing from one extreme to another and they can therefore get caught at either end or in between. And what are these opposite Dvandvatas? Dvandvas? Dvandva. Between the two. Cold and hot. Shita, Ushna are one set of opposites, either of which can make person unhappy. In the winter, the person complains of cold, and in summer, he or she finds it too hot. And the 2 months in between, 1 month of spring and 1 month of autumn, are spent saying, oh, summer is coming soon and it will be hot, and then, oh, the winter is coming soon and it will be cold. In this way, the entire year is spent complaining about either the heat or the cold, and every year is the same. Thus, for those who get caught in the extremes are in between, or in between. Everything is a matter of complaint, matter for complaint. They keep on complaining. In fact, a lot of all sansaris. In fact, it is in fact the lot of all sansaris. When there is some sukha, something comfortable, the person is up. And when there is anything uncomfortable, dukkha, the person is down. The dvandva atita is one who is sama, who has an inner composure with respect to all the opposites. Some composure is natural in one who can see a karma in karma, because the person who knows Atma is not the doer. And because his composure, Ananda, is the person's nature, it never goes away. Success and failure, victory and defeat, and so on are varieties of opposites upon which the Dvandvatita does not depend for his or her security and happiness. The one who is Dvandvatita does not depend on success, failure, victory, defeat, hot, cold, dukkha, sukha, papa, punya. Whereas these opposites constantly catch others. One makes them happy, the other opposite makes them unhappy. The wise person, however, is above the opposites. He or she can be objective towards them and do whatever is to be done without coming under their spell. This person is therefore called Dvandvatita. Dvandvatita. To be above the opposite is different from the middle path, which is only sadhana, a means. A person who lives according to the middle path, sometimes called the middle way or the golden way, is between the opposite and not at the either extreme. Extremes are always a problem because they become fads. To avoid faddism, which is not a very happy situation, some people do not veer to the either side but remain in the middle is everything. As a sadhana, a means, the middle path is considered to be the golden path. Then afterwards you find that you are above the opposites. They are in your hands, in the sense they do not upset you at all. A person who is above the opposite no longer needs to take care about being in the middle. He or she is a Dvandvatita who is naturally above the opposite. He is neither in the middle nor in the opposite. He is Dvandvatita. Krishna further explains a Dvandvatita in verse as Siddhau Asiddhau Cha Sama. One whose attitude towards success, siddhi, and failure, asiddhi, is same. Because the person is Dvandvatita, he or she is not affected by any of the opposite, including success and failure. We must remember that the person being discussed in this verse is a sannyasi for whom success may means nothing more than receiving some food or being able to go to a quiet place. To be unsuccessful then simply means that a person does not receive any food or is not able to go to a quiet place. Thus there are success and failure even for sannyasis, but in either case the person is always the same. Whether he gets food, for a sannyasi getting food is success, not getting food is failure. Getting some quiet place is success, not getting a quiet place, ekanta. But sannyasi also can remain always the same. Whether he gets the food, he doesn't get the food, okay. The sixfold affiliations. The Jnani is also described here as Vimatsara, Matsara, meaning jealous. To say that a person who is content with whatever comes by chance and one who is free from the opposite is also free from jealousies, so seems to be somewhat out of the place. Why then would Krishna have said this? Matsara, jealousy, and it is one of the sixfold problems. Here Krishna takes jealousy to represent all six. Matsara, jealousy is upalakshana of all of them. Upalakshana means using one member of the group to represent all the members of the group. Therefore, here the person who is described as Vimatsara is free from all sixfold problems. In this practice of taking one to cover all item in the group is not understood. The mention of Vimatsara, one who is free from jealousy, here will disturb the even flow of thought. We have seen meaning of Matsara before. When someone is happy or seems to be happy, you become sad. किसी का खुशी देखकर, किसी का सुख देखकर दुखी हो जाना. You may think the person is happy because he or she has what you want, but the person may not be happy at all. Perhaps this person bought the house you wanted to buy, married the person you wanted to marry, or got the promotion you were after. If another person has anything that you value, it can create jealousy, matsara in you. Seeing someone's achievement, someone's success, you can be affiliated with the particular type of thinking. Matsara, an emotion that makes you sad, is getting jealous. Krishna singles out jealousy here because it is the worst affliction among the six cited above. All the six are common to everyone because a person feels incomplete. He or she has likes and dislikes, all called kama, that have to be fulfilled in order to be happy and secure. Wherever there is kama, krodha, anger is possible. When someone or something stands between you and what you want, this obstruction turns your kama back to yourself. Wherever there are desires, whenever there are desires, growth is possible, anger is possible. When someone stands between you and your desires, this obstruction in desires, this obstructions, beam of desire is krodha, anger. Kama itself turns into krodha. When your desire, your expectation is not fulfilled, there is anguish that turns into anger, and the obstruction becomes the target of your anger. Even if the obstruction is yourself, or not knowing who is responsible, you take your anger out on anyone or anything, even God. Whenever your desire is not fulfilled, the first target of the krodha is God himself. God has not fulfilled my desire. God is to be blamed. The first casualty is God. Then there is greed. First is kama, then there is krodha, then there is greed, lobha. Lobha is a problem for those who are insecure, that even if they have more than enough money, they cannot spend it on themselves or on others, and they think they have to accumulate more. Like kama and krodha, lobha is to be expected in one who is insecure and immature. Lobha, lalach, greed for wanting more and more and more and more and more and more. despite of having enough, the thirst for more. Having false value is a problem. False value. I am so and so. It is moha. A person has false value because the society in which he or she grows up has false values. To think that the color of one's hair determines how much fun you will have, exemplified by the well-known expression, blondes may have more fun, is a false value. In the same way, a man may think he has made it only when he has a big boat, an apartment in Manhattan, and a cabin at a Lake Thaw. Since the society itself has these false value, moha is also to be expected. एक घर होना चाहिए हरिद्वार में, गंगा के किनारे, एक बड़ी सी गाड़ी होनी चाहिए, कनॉट प्लेस के अंदर एक सुंदर सा मकान होना चाहिए. These are all mohas. Every society has false value, and these false value are taught. They grow upon you. These false values are taught right from the childhood. They are spoon-fed it. When, for instance, the society thinks that to be single means to be lonely, this particular thinking seeps into everybody's psyche. In fact, being single has nothing whatsoever to do with being lonely. अकेला रहना, सिंगल रहना, शादी ना करना, lonely नहीं होता. A person is lonely when another person does not understand him or her. If your partner doesn't understand you, you are still lonely. You can be lonely in the midst of million of people. You can live in a house with 20 people and still be lonely. Especially if you sit in a corner thinking that no one likes you and no one understands you. You are lonely in a party of 20,000 people, party thrown by Mr. Ambani, with big stars like Shah Rukh Khan, Sachin Tendulkar, from all corners of lifestyle there are people, but still you may be lonely, no one to understand. If you are a Vedanti, who will understand you? No one, sir. When you grow up in the society that you have such values, naturally you are going to be imbibe these values. This imbibing is natural, and whatever is imbibed can remain with you throughout your life. False values are very difficult to remove by vichara, inquiry, because they have rooted themselves so firmly. To shake them loose requires a lot of understanding. To think that money, power or anything else will save you or make you somebody is moha. ये सोचना भी कि मैं पावर होने से, पैसा होने से, बड़ा आदमी होने से मैं कुछ बन जाऊंगा, कुछ बनना है, इस मोहा. ये मोह है, एक delusion. It is a delusion. Whoever given the false value, however the given false values of the society, the person is brought up in moha, is understandable. Vanity, mada, occurs when you do not believe in your own capacity. Most people have an underlying sense that they are useless, based on the humiliation they have experienced from the time when they were 3 years old. In the second year of the life, you think you are the only ego around. You are an absolute ego, in fact. And then you discover your mother's ego, your father's ego, your sister's ego, and your brother's ego. You also discover that all these other egos are different from yours, and yours is only one among the many. This discovery is first humiliation, followed by many more. Not being first in the class, not winning the race, not coming even close, and so on. In fact, all these, how will the child look at himself or herself? And who is going to escape from such humiliation? You will definitely look at yourself as incomplete in some ways, if not all. Right from the age 3, sir, right from the age 3, you start teaching your child. ये नहीं होने से सुख नहीं मिलेंगे, इनकम्प्लीट रह जाएंगे, क्लास में फर्स्ट नहीं आने से पीछे रह जाएंगे, रेस में नहीं फर्स्ट आने से पीछे रह जाएंगे, गाना नहीं सीखने से फर्स्ट नहीं आएंगे, नहीं सीखने से फर्स्ट नहीं आने से पीछे रह जाएंगे, सुर लगाना आना चाहिए। कौन सी रेस में दौड़ने हैं? ये मद। That I am incomplete is the original problem of everyone. No one need even tell me so. And if someone complains me, I am very happy, taking it to be some grace I have received, because I think of myself as incomplete. Even if I am competent in some way, this conclusion I am incompetent is unavoidable. And when a person who thinks this way happens to accomplish something, vanity, mada, may be the result, which is nothing but another form of inferiority complex. Because I cannot stand my incompetence, I have to pump myself up with kind of thinking or boosting. Oh, I am so wonderful, and so on. The vanity, mada, is also understandable, given that people take themselves to be generally incomplete. So these 5 things: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and then comes jealousy, irsha. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, and mada are all legitimate problems. In that they are understandable. But why does a person becomes unhappy when someone else is happy? मैं दुखी क्यों हूँ, वो तो सुखी है. When someone is happy, can I not be at least happy? Be happy that someone, thank God, is happy? This kind of happiness is surely a very simple thing. To see someone happy because he or she has got something, and to be happy for the person costs me nothing. I can work for the same thing and also get it. Instead, however, there can be unhappiness called jealousy, which is the most legitimate of the 6-fold problems. The 5 problems we have discussed, and the 6th problem is Krishna, which is Krishna told in this verse. Therefore, of the 6, Krishna singles out jealousy by saying that the wise person is free from jealousy. He is called Vimatsara, to be free from jealousy. Matsara is also to be free from desire. The one who is free from jealous, who is not jealous, is free from desires. Since he doesn't have any desires, he is not jealous of others getting their desires fulfilled. Why should he be bothered? Jnani doesn't need to bother about others' desires getting fulfilled. When he is free from desires, then there is no krodha, there is no greed, false values and vanity. There is no anger, greed, false value, vanity. Together these are the sixfold affiliations or enemies, the Sadirupas. The verse goes on to say that even though this wise person perform action, he or she is not bound. Kartava api na nibhyate. By the results of action. Why? For the same reason given earlier, for being no doership. Kartatva abhavat. Because he doesn't have the doership. In terms of knowledge, the person knows that he or she is not the doer and therefore is not bound by the actions. The result. The person who is not bound with the result, the person who is not the karta, despite of doing the karma, he understands, he knows that he is the akarta, he is not the doer. And since he understands he is not the doer, so there is no karma phala. He is not waiting for any desires to get fulfilled. Since he is not for any desires, there is no krodha. When there is no krodha, there is no lobha, there is no moha with the result, and no mada. If I accomplish this, if I become this, the mada is not there. So all sixfold enemies are gone for Jnani. Despite he is doing the karma, he is doing a karma. He is not the karta, he is a karta. He understands, with the knowledge he knows that he is a karta. He is the non-doer. And therefore he is not bound by the results. Whatever results come for the action he has done, whatever result come, he is not bound. Whatever has happened, the result may be a lot of money, a big, huge flow of money can come in for a Jnani also. If he does something, and he may get inflow of money, but he is not bothered. He doesn't have any kind of moha, no kama, because he never desired. There was no desire in his actions. The actions may result in money. It doesn't make a difference to him. He is least bothered. He may not get anything. Despite of all actions, he may not even get food. But still he is not bothered. His desire of getting food is not fulfilled. He is not bothered. He is not bothered about his food. So he has no krodha also. No lobha, no moha, no mada. When you don't have these 6 enemies, you have controlled these 6 enemies, and you know that you are non-doer of the action. Therefore, Jnani is not bound for its results. Jnani is not bound by the results. Further, Krishna says, the action in verse number 23, he says, the action of a jnani who is not a sannyasi in terms of lifestyle. A person, a jnani's action. Now Krishna returns to the person. Till now he was of a sannyasi. Now Krishna returns to the other person, the one who is not a sannyasi in terms of a lifestyle, but who is a jnani, the jnani who is engaged in activity, who has duties to do because he or she does not happen to be a sannyasi, continues to play the role. With each role there is a script, and this person fulfills the script. In the next verse, Krishna describes what happens when this type of jnani performs action. Like Raja Janak, he was a jnani. He performed actions. And what happens? What happens when a jnani performs action? Gat sangasya muktasya jnanavastita chaitasa yagyaya charata karma samagram pravilyate. The karma of one who is free from attachment, the karma of one who is free from attachment, who is liberated, whose mind is rooted in self-knowledge, who performs for the sake of daily yajna, resolves totally. Although the jnani may be in the midst of various activities, he or she is not attached to anything. All attachment, sangha, has gone, gata, for the person who of the self-knowledge. Thus the jnani is described here as gata sangha. Gata sangha, who of the one who is free from attachment. Muktasya, of one who is liberated. Jnana avasthita chetsha, of one whose mind is rooted in self-knowledge. Yajna, for the sake of daily yajna. Akartha, one who acharataha, of the one who performs samagram, totally, karma, action, pravalyate, resolves. This we will see tomorrow. Verse number 23 and 24 we will sum up tomorrow. Till then you can think how a sannyasi what we have seen today is how a sannyasi is not affected by the results of action, despite of doing. Whereas he is not doing any action. He is a karta, he is non-doer. For the food also, if he gets, okay, if he doesn't get, it's okay. So this we will see tomorrow. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Gurubhyo Namaha.